think it started. I'm gonna give it a minute. Because I want to get the ads out of the way and just give a chance for people to actually come in, though it is like 9:25 a.m. roughly, so we'll see if anyone is alive or not. But yeah, I want to try to get, like, I want to start streaming regularly, but I work 5 days a week in the afternoons, so the only times I really can stream are like before noon or like after 9 p.m. So on days I work, we're gonna have early streams if I stream, or really, really late streams if I stream. And then on days I don't work, they can be literally any time of the day. Just give me a second to adjust stuff. So that I can actually take this. Okay, let me get this mouse out of the way. But yeah, I will say that even though I'm going to try to stream, my goal is to stream at least twice a week, currently. That's the current goal. If it's Saturday, I think it's Saturday, because yesterday was Friday. I work Fridays through Tuesdays, in the afternoons, and then I'm off Wednesday, Thursdays. Things I'm going to be streaming. I have 3 different Minecraft SMPs that I'm a part of currently. 2 of which are gonna be like mainly streamed, and then 1 where it's a bit more laid back. So it's not as like a big of priority, because for me it's just like a more so hangout roleplay server. But I still would like to stream on it. But I think out of the 3 Minecraft, I'm going to prioritize Caretaker and Utopia, because those are my more like bigger build ones, as well as like Caretaker's a big lore server, and then I have lore stuff planned for Utopia, and then the third one is Fox lore, which is the newest. I think that's only been open like 2 days, and is a roleplay server, but it's pretty like you're in charge of your own lore. It's pretty laid back type deal. Still feel like I'm still gonna stream on it. It's just it's not like a super big priority compared to the other 2. And then I want to stream Cult of the Lamb again, because I did recently find out. So the reason why I haven't streamed Cult of the Lamb in a while is my old laptop died back in January, as many of you know. Was it February? But yeah, first like beginning of the year, my old laptop died, and I thought that I lost my Cult of the Lamb save file that I had. But when I went to make myself, because Cult of the Lamb hyperfixation has me in a chokehold, so I went to make a like non-streamed like file for myself, and saw that my old file, the vending machine cult, was still there. So probably going to hopefully start streaming Cult of the Lamb again and continue with that save file. See if we can like fully 100% the game on it or not. But yeah, so that's that. And then obviously gonna be trying to do multiplayer horror games. Like we played Cryo recently. I would like to play a few games. I want to play Mermaid. There's a demo out. I saw Eddie play it. But the issue with that is it like basically requires a controller and I don't have a controller. So that one's probably going to have to wait until I like that one's probably going to have to wait until the game fully comes out. We'll see. And then I want to also do Little Nightmares. Play through the first one on stream and then also play through the second one on stream so that me and Kat can play the third one together. I have somehow gone this long without any Little Nightmares 3 spoilers. So there's that. But yeah, okay. Been streaming for 6 minutes. I think it's time to start the quiz. So let me make sure I'm on the right thing. Hide that. We'll press C to continue. Are we connected? That was fucking loud. Excellent. Hang on, let me... There. Excellent. Truly excellent. Every human soul has its own distinctive virtues. In each human, one shines above the rest. Okay. Answer honestly. And it will show itself. I accidentally skipped that. Okay, now. We may begin. Okay. So I saw, I've been seeing people do... God, that was louder than I thought it was gonna be. But I think if I turn it down anymore, it's gonna be... Okay. Yeah, it mutes the music. Here. I think we'll just have to go without the music, and I can put on like a Spotify playlist. Ah, I forgot that it's capturing my screen because my thing is really like it's capturing my screen because anytime I try to just capture Chrome, OBS throws a fit about that. So I use screen capture because I have two different monitors and that's just what's easiest. This is also how I do Blood on the Clocktower, is I just do screen capture. See if I can find the music that it was playing. It just means that there won't be any music in post. Oh, you know what? I actually have a fix for this. No, I don't want to fuck with that, actually. Wait. We're going to a black screen real quick. So I can fix stuff. It is still loud. No, actually it's not because it's... This scene doesn't have the... Okay. I think that's gonna be good. That's good enough. Soul Virtues Extractor. 66 questions. Oh yeah, but I decided to do this one because I saw a streamer that I watch sometimes when I manage to catch his streams, because he streams a lot while I'm at work, so I don't always catch his streams, but Goblin J did this not yesterday, but the day before. I happened to be off and was able to catch one of his streams for once. So I thought I'd give it a try, because why not? Okay, 7 virtues, Soul's Virtues Extractor, 66 questions. 7 human souls, 7 virtues. This device has been designed to reveal which one suits you best. Every answer is scored against all 7 virtues at once. Some answers are mostly one thing and a little of another, and some also detract from other virtues. There are no right or wrong answers, but being honest about one's flaws should provide more accurate results. Okay. Oh. Okay. How often... You often feel like you can't simply be yourself in a group. These are gonna be a lot of it depends questions. Okay. Okay. Here's the issue with quizzes like this, is so often it's like, oh well, it depends on the context, but these kinds of questions are specifically without context. Like, that's the point of them. I guess neutral, because like I said, it depends on the context. Once you decide you want something, talking you out of it is close to impossible. I'm gonna say disagree. I'm gonna say... Because there are some things that I probably, like, you would probably not be able to talk me out of. But for most part, I'm gonna say disagree. Because for the most part, you can probably talk me out of stuff. I'm not, like, I'm stubborn, but I'm not exactly the most stubborn person. Yeah. You believe that some things only get through to a person once they hurt them. Yeah, strongly agree on that one. Like, some people, they just have to learn the hard way, and, like, yeah, it sucks, but sometimes that's the only way they'll listen, is if they get hurt doing what they were doing before. If someone has something to tell you, you don't get anxious while waiting to know what it is. I get extremely anxious. I get so very anxious. Even if I know I've done nothing wrong, my brain still gets, like, will create a bunch of different things that, even though I know for a fact I didn't do, they're like, what if? But what if? You tend to avoid doing things that make you uncomfortable. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I do. You have a hard time forgiving people. I feel like I have a thing of I forgive too easily. I think I let a lot of shit slide that I probably shouldn't. So I'm gonna go with strongly disagree. You do what you have to do even when the motivation is there. There's some times where I don't, but most of the time I will. It'll like I'll complain about it. I'll drag my feet, but like I'll do it. You believe you can be trusted with secrets? Yeah. There is shit I have been told. And like I'm not even on good terms with this person anymore and I still haven't said secrets. If I'm told like, hey, like you can't share this with anyone, it's not leaving my mouth. It's just not. You can tell when things are over. This is another where it depends on the situation. But usually I think I'll go with I'll do this. I'll do agree. You're often told that you have a tendency to pry too much. See, I do pry a lot because I like to make sure my friends are okay. But I've never been told that I pry a lot. So I'm not gonna go with like a disagree. But I've never been outright told. I'll go neutral for that. Okay. You believe time heals all wounds. Heals? No. There are some wounds that'll never fully be healed. I think time, like you can, like with time you can learn to live with your wounds. Just like, yeah, a scar is like a healed wound, quote unquote, but it's still there. So I'm gonna go with, strongly disagree. You could use being more open about things that make you hurt. Yeah. I have a really hard time telling people when they hurt me. I'm trying to get better about it. Do I fully believe like you need to tell people? Yes. But it's like pulling teeth for me to actually do it. But I try my best and it does like sometimes the confronting person feels worse to me than the actual like action that they've done to hurt me. But like it needs to be done. You believe that everyone should be held to the same standards. I'm kind of neutral on this because this is another one where it depends. Cuz like I'm never going to hold a like child and an adult on the same standard. You couldn't. I'm also not going to hold like a freaking like 4 PhDs, freaking doctorates, whatever, like on the same, like, fucking brain surgeon rocket scientist on the same level as, like, a high school dropout. Like, it's just, I don't think everyone can be held at the same standard. But then on the other hand, it's like, there's a base standard that I expect everyone, like, be a decent person. I'm gonna go neutral on this. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna go neutral on a lot of these. Just cause context. I need so much context for things. You often regret things you said in the heat of the moment. No. I actually, more often than not, regret things I didn't say. I tend to shut up before I get to the point of saying something I'll regret. And then later I beat myself up about it because that thing that I kept myself from saying, that person it was probably something that they had needed to hear. And then I never said it, they never heard it, and then stuff's gonna continue to happen. So, no. I often don't regret things I've said. Mainly because in the heat of the moment I don't say anything at all. You just the way you act and talk depending on who you are with. This is another it depends thing. Because the way I act around my family is kind of different than the way I act around my friends. Just because they are different. But even then, like, the way I act around my friends is the way I act around my mom. So, like, but then I don't act, like, completely different, though. I will say, like, I feel like sometimes you have to. I'll go rarely. Because I pretty much act the same, now that I think about it. Like, I pretty much act the same here as I do at work. Like, obviously tone down a little because you're at work. But, like, pretty much, like, humor's the same. The way I do stuff is the same. Like, it's probably just, like, a few instances where I adjust. But mostly no, I don't. You feel uncomfortable talking about your worries to other people, but want others to tell you theirs. Yeah. Like, this goes back to the other thing of, like, I struggle to tell people when they've hurt me. Like, I'm gonna put agree, because there's some situations, if it doesn't have to deal with, like, myself, and, like, oh, this person, like, you hurt me specifically, like, if it's just, like, worries about a situation, then I can, without, like, issue. But if it's, like, a confrontation of, like, I'm confronting someone, like, telling that person, that's when I start to struggle. So I'm gonna go with agree, and not strongly agree, for that reason. I feel like I'm sticking to the middle with so many of these. You believe asking others for help equates to failing. Okay. I don't think it equates to failing. Because it's like... Because it's not like the act of failing that it makes me asking for help hard. It's the... And I only have, like, this issue with, like, certain people. Like, I have a hard time asking my mom for help. And it's not the, like, failure that gets me. It's, like... I guess it's, like, the rejection sensitive, like, issues. Like, I'm more afraid of the rejection and the disappointment. Not to say my mother would ever, like, reject me or whatever. So I'm gonna put agree. I'm gonna put agree. Would you tell a friend they're in the wrong even if it meant hurting their feelings? You would tell a friend they're in the wrong. See, okay. I'm gonna put agree. Here's why. If they're in the wrong with, like... And it has, like, they're telling me a situation. Like, I'm gonna let them finish their, like, talk. And then afterwards, I'm gonna be like, hey... like, check yourself a little bit here. Like, I've done this before. Like, my only hang-up is if it has to do with, like, them being wrong is, like, towards me. If it's towards something else or someone else, yeah, I have, like, usually little to no issues, like, telling them, hey, you're wrong. But if it has to do with, like, towards me, that's when I struggle with it. So I'm gonna just put agree instead of strongly agree. I'm so in the middle with all of these. Do you think even the worst person can change? That everybody can be a good person if they just tried? No. I believe most people are capable of change, but not everybody. I, like, fully believe, as much as I want to believe in, like, the, like, Buddhist belief that there's good and evil in everyone and that every second of every day is, like, a struggle and, or, like, consciously choosing between the two of them. As much as I want to believe that, I can't. I believe there are some people that were put, like, that the universe put here specifically just to be a bad person. And I don't think that those people can ever change. I do think most people are capable of change, though. Just not everybody. So I'm going to put strongly disagree. When you lose interest in something, you abandon it entirely. So, a lot of times if I lose interest in something, my brain will just, like, forget it exists. It will. It will just... poof. It never existed in the first place. But there's some things where, even if I lose interest in it, it's like, I still, like, enjoy it. I'm gonna put, like, I wish it was, like, I'm gonna put agree on this. No, I'm gonna put neutral on this. Because it's like, some things, yes. Other things, it's like a 50-50 almost. It's like 50% of the time, yeah, I forget it exists entirely. And then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, I might lose interest in it, but, like, I'm probably still gonna do it. Because, like, sometimes, just, like, though it is hard for me to continue doing it, though. Which makes me want to lean more towards agree than disagree. I'll do agree. I'll do just agree. You need things resolved quickly, otherwise you get anxious. I prefer it when things are resolved quickly, but that's not always, like, feasible. And I've gotten to that age, like, when I was younger, yeah, this would have 100% been strongly disagree, but I've gotten to that age where it's like, I try not to fret. Especially if it's like, I know things are going to, like, be a little weird. Like, I understand everything. Not everything can be resolved super fast. So I'm gonna put a disagree. Not strongly disagree, because it's like, I would prefer if things got resolved quickly, but I don't need them to be resolved quickly. Strongly agree. I love trying new things. I love trying new foods. I will say the foods is a little bit more but I love trying new things that pique my interest, especially like so many of my so many of my things, it's like, oh, I found this thing because I got out of my comfort zone. Or I like this thing and it's because I got out of my comfort zone. Like, I was that person where it's like, I never thought I'd be able to stream. I had such so much anxiety, and then I dated someone who was a streamer. And they talked me into streaming. And I loved it. But that was definitely out of my comfort zone. Same with like something else that was out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to think of what the word is, but I can't think of the word. What is the word? I can't think of the word now. I had another example, but now it's lost. I've lost it. But yes. Yes, I do love when you know someone is wrong, you can't help but correct them. Sometimes it depends on the person. It really depends on the person. However, I'm also a firm believer in don't interrupt your enemy while they're making mistakes. Not that I really have enemies, but I think I'll go sometimes. Because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Regardless of whatever people do, you have your own set of rules you won't break. Strongly agree, yeah. You often procrastinate until the last possible second before a deadline. Not intentionally. I don't, intentionally procrastinate. I have such severe, time blindness. Like, the passage of time just doesn't work. So I'll go, I accidentally procrastinate a lot, so I'll go with Gree. You dislike owing people and try to pay back any favors as soon as you can. I would say strongly disagree. I'm very much a give or take person. I feel like there are certain people I wouldn't like owing to, but I don't care. The only time I care is if they constantly bring up oh, you owe me this thing, and it's like, okay, well, you'll get paid back when you get paid back. I don't know what to tell you. Will I try to pay them back as soon as possible? But it's not because I dislike owing people. It's just I guess to just show them that I'm not just gonna take advantage of them. It's more of has everything to do with me and has nothing to do with I dislike owing people. So I'm gonna say strongly disagree. Obviously I don't like owing people things, but I don't dislike it. So I'm gonna put strongly disagree. When something you cared about fails or ends, it takes you a long time to find something new to care about. I'm gonna go with agree. I'm gonna go with strongly agree. Especially on the, like, fails part. Like, it takes me so long to move on from things. Like, for, like, things I care about. So I'm gonna put strongly agree. You regular... Someone you hold dear at... Shut up, phone. Sorry, my wake-up alarm just went off. If someone you hold dear asked you for help, you'd see through it to the end, even if it meant hurting yourself in the process. Yes. Would you turn down an opportunity if you knew someone would be a better fit? You would turn down an opportunity if you knew someone would be a better fit. I'm gonna go agree. Not strongly agree, because I probably would still, like, depending on how badly I wanted it, I would probably still, like, fight with myself a little bit about it, but in the end, I think I would still, like, turn it down. Do you believe that the end justifies... You believe the end justifies the means? I'm neutral on that. Because it depends. It depends on the situation. I'm gonna do it like this. Like, someone shoplifting. I am that person, even if I am working and I see it happen in front of me, I will turn a blind eye to someone shoplifting if what they're shoplifting is for, like, trying to feed their family, right? Like, I'm not gonna blink an eye about someone stealing food or formula or diapers or, like, sometimes clothes, especially if it's baby clothes or, like, children's clothes. I don't care. But if the person stealing is just stealing for the hell of it, or, like, stealing to, like, just make a quick cash grab or whatever, and they're not doing it for, like, a good end, then yeah. Like, no. So I'm gonna go neutral. Because for me, it depends on the situation. You have a hard time believing you're worth the effort it takes to be with you, if not for convenience. Others say you speak without thinking. I'd say probably rarely. You need to have things planned out before you feel ready to do something. So I have about if there's something I'm going to do that day, I have an alarm for it. Or if, like, there are plans and I'm not told about it more than, like, a couple hours in advance. Sometimes, like, I get upset at that too. I plan my days. Like, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna try to do, like, acceptable things. Like, I plan that. If I, like, want to do chores that day or need to do chores that day, I set an alarm, and that alarm has to be at least an hour from when I set it. At least. On days I work, have an alarm to wake up. I have an alarm to brush my teeth. I have an alarm to get ready, because brushing your teeth and getting ready is two different things for me. I have an alarm to shower. I have an alarm to make myself lunch. I have an alarm to remind me to eat before my shift. I have an alarm to leave. And then if I have to take an Uber, I have an alarm to schedule an Uber. Like, I schedule things. I have an alarm to remind me to take out my garbage from my room. Like, I live by alarms and plans. So I'm gonna put strongly agree. You consider yourself to be driven more by your emotions than facts. I'd say slightly agree. I'm gonna slightly agree with this. I'm a very, like, emotionally driven person. Like, I'm a very emotional person. Like, there are situations where it's like, I have to look at the facts, but I'm still, like, my first initial reaction is to lead with emotion, and then I have to kind of, like, reel myself back, and then go forward with the facts. So I'm gonna put agree. I'm gonna put agree. I'm gonna put strongly agree because it's like, I do consider myself, like, driven more by emotion. It's just that I have to then take a second and reevaluate and then go through with facts. So yeah, strongly agree. When faced with a difficult choice, you'd rather ask someone for input than choosing on your own. Agree. You would like to love yourself the way you are, but you rarely can. You perform poorly when you can't tell if you're doing well or not. I kind of agree, because then I start worrying more about I start worrying more about whether I'm perceived doing it well than actually doing the task, and then my, like, performance fails. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You stuck with things long after they stopped being good for you because quitting felt like betrayal. Yeah, I have a hard time letting go of things. There's probably so many of these that I've, like, contradicted myself just because of the way they're phrased, I'm realizing. Because, oh my god. It's why these types of quizzes make me kind of crazy. Make me kind of lose my mind. And we're like 40 questions. Oh my god, it's been 40 minutes. Would you rather be hated? You would rather be hated than having to pretend you're someone else. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I might... Yeah. When something looks unlikely to work, you would rather put your efforts somewhere it will. It depends on the situation. I'm gonna say neutral, because it really depends on the situation. But I think, like, most time it's just, like, I'm still gonna try the thing. Like, especially... Like, yeah, it might look unlikely to work, but I'd still want to put effort in just to be able to say that I tried to. And then if it does, like, not work, then I'll put my effort into something else. So I'm gonna say neutral. You believe that solving someone's issues for them would be doing a disservice to them. Okay, this one's worded differently, because I would like to help people solve their problems. It's the, like, for them? Like, are they not putting any work into it? Like, if it's an issue I can solve for them, I'd love to do so. I'm gonna put disagree. Not strongly disagree, just kind of just disagree as, like, a slightly disagree. Because I'd love to solve people's problems for them if I can. And I don't believe the act of solving someone's issues for them is a disservice to them if it's helping them. It's the how they go about it after that I think would be a disservice or not. So for now, I'm gonna put disagree. I'm gonna put disagree. If someone says you wouldn't dare do something, you need to prove them wrong. Sometimes. I'm gonna put agree, because yeah, sometimes. You keep quiet about things that bother you until they become unbearable. Yeah, this goes back to the, like, I have trouble speaking up for specifically myself. Like, even though I want to be that person where it's like, hey, this bothers me, sometimes I do struggle too. I eventually get there. I do eventually get there. But it does, like, kind of grate on me for a little bit before I do. But I'm trying my best. I try to. And I don't hold it against that person, because it's like, how can they stop the behavior? Like, I don't hold it against that person that much. It just kind of gets to a point where it, like, grates on me, and I'm like, hey, this has been bothering me for a while, but, like, So, yeah. But I will say, I'm trying to get better, but as it stands right now, yeah. You don't mind sitting in silence with someone for a long time. Agree. I think parallel play / like body doubling is a great thing. You often interrupt people when talking about something that excites you. I'm gonna put agree. Because I do this. I try not to. But it takes a lot of effort. Especially because, like, I grew up in a family where people were constantly interrupting people, and I would get steamrolled in conversations constantly. To the point where I was just the quiet kid. Because I just stopped talking because I would get interrupted anyway. So when I'm excited about something, I tend to just kind of steamroll. I'm trying to be better, though. I don't do it super, super often. I try my best not to. But I do sometimes slip and it happens. So I will put agree. I think some of your interests are embarrassing and avoid talking about them in front of people you're not close with. I think if this was, like, high school me, or even, like, 3 years ago me, this would have been an agree. But, like, I'm not close with, like, very many people at work, and I talk about my interests there all the time. So I'm gonna put agree, because there's probably still some situations where, yeah, I wouldn't. But for the most part, you believe sugarcoating things can only make them worse in the long term. I believe it depends on the person. Because there's some people where... Sorry, I had to fix my hair. There was one strand that was in my face and it was bothering me. Sugarcoating things can only make them worse in the long term. See, I'm neutral about this. Because it's like, I feel like some people, if you just come at them bluntly, they're going to get defensive and that's going to make things worse. But if you kind of sugarcoat it with them and they get the hint, then it's fine. I believe... See, I don't really care. Like, I feel like there's some people you cannot sugarcoat things with. And then there's some people you can. You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm gonna go with, like, I'm gonna go with agree. Because I don't feel strongly about it, but it's like, I guess in, like, most situations sugarcoating does, but not all of them. Difficult situations hardly stress you out. I get so stressed out. I try not to be. I try to distract myself, but like I do get stressed out if things are like difficult. You believe some things are unattainable even if you want them, and that settling for what is acceptable. Yeah. There are some things I want so badly that I, at this point, have kind of accepted will probably never happen. Like, I want to own a house. That's probably not going to happen. But, like, I'll settle for, like, renting with friends. Or staying with my mom, I guess. So, I'm just gonna put agree. Being liked matters more to you than being understood. No. I don't care if people like me if they're constantly understanding me. If they're if I'm constantly being misunderstood, it drives me crazy. Like, I don't care if I'm liked by people. Like, yeah, would I like to be liked by people? Sure. But, like, and, like, am I a little nosy if people don't like me and I'm like, why? Sure. But it's like, I would rather people understand me than like me. Drives me crazy. You're comfortable putting your own needs first when they clash with someone else's. Disagree. Disagree. You tend to endure difficult situations rather than be the one to end them. Not really. It's like, I feel like I'm neutral on this, because it depends on the situation, and like, I'll go neutral with that one. You avoid intervening in matters that don't concern you directly. Rarely. There's a few where I've been like, this doesn't concern me, and leave, but sometimes I still like, I like being like the mediator, I guess, to like make sure things are going well. Like, I hate when they do concern me directly, because then I can't help mediate the situation. So I'll put rarely. Seeing someone being treated... Yeah. It makes me so fucking mad. Seeing someone being treated unfairly angers you deeply. Yeah. It, it makes me so mad, actually. You value the journey more than you do the destination. Yeah. Because it's like... You can, like... Yeah. Because the journey is what's happening in the now. The destination is just where you're going. Like, I feel like a lot of people use the analogy of, like, oh, travel analogy. It's like, oh yeah, your destination is Myrtle Beach. But then once you're actually there, you're still on a journey, because now your destination is something else. Like, a destination changes, but the journey is what you're currently on. Like, I believe people should live in the moment. Like, yeah, plan, obviously. But I think living in the moment instead of worrying about where you'll be next is more important. So, yeah. When someone is struggling, letting them fail and learn from the experience is sometimes for the best. I'm gonna put agree, and I'm treating it as like us sometimes. The room between. Someone is struggling, letting them fail and learn from the experience is sometimes for the best. The room between. Neutral, agree. is this? What is this? Well, there is a man here. He offered you something. You got the egg. What does that do? What was that about? Did I miss more things like that? There's a room between. I think that's just where I came from. You are critical of yourself more than you are others. Yeah. Yeah. You'd put yourself in harm's way if it meant helping someone you hold dear. Yeah. Sometimes think of yourself as better than no. You would say you're closed-minded or stuck in your ways. I'm pretty open-minded. To, like, other people. Because for me, closed-minded are people who, like, refuse to see other people's point of views. Refuse to change at all. Like, I'm willing to hear people out. I may not change my mind about certain things, but, like, I'm still willing to, like, closed-minded means, like, you're not even willing to hear other arguments. I'm willing to hear other arguments. When faced with hardships, your first instinct is to keep going no matter what. I'm gonna slightly disagree. My first instinct is to curl up in a ball and cry, probably. Like, will I eventually get back up? Sure, but that's not my first instinct. You prefer having difficult conversations once the heat of the moment has passed. Yeah. Heat's flames, man. Also, yes, I prefer having them once the heat of the moment has passed because then we're having an actual conversation and we're not just arguing. There's a difference between having a conversation and arguing. So, yeah, strongly agree, would be here, but instead of it's Heat's flames, man, so... You would happily accept a flattering description of yourself that isn't quite accurate. Like, I wouldn't say it to the person, but inside I'd be like, well, no. Like, I'd accept it outwardly, but I wouldn't accept it, like, inward. So I'm gonna go with disagree. I don't know if that's not, like, that might not be what it means. It might just be whatever, but that's what I'm... You've taken up many things that you haven't seen through the end. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of, like, art that I've never finished. There's books that I've started and then haven't finished. I've started and stopped, like, learning languages. I'll put slightly agree. Because I feel like with a lot of stuff, like, I usually come back to it at some point. It's just staying with something. Having done something and failed is still better than having done anything at all. Yeah. Have you answered honestly? Yes. You acknowledge the possibility of pain and seizure. Yes? Huh. Kindness. No matter how many times I got hurt, I never let them make me cruel. a decisive result. Kindness is not niceness. "50% is neutral. Above it, you lean toward that virtue. Below it, you leaned away." So... okay, I'm like almost perfectly neutral on perseverance. I'm close to 50 with bravery. Determination. That might just be my ADHD, not gonna lie. And then justice. Yeah, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, I do have, like, a strong, like, when I think about it, like, I do have, like, a strong thing of justice of, like, I do get really upset about certain things. But, like, I guess not, like, as much as I thought I did. Still, none of these are above, like, none of these are below 30%, so, like... kindness is not niceness. The latter is pleasant and cheap, only offered by those who are unable or unwilling to tell people what they actually need to hear. Kindness is frequently inconvenient, and it might even hurt at first, but it's aimed at pivoting the possible outcome for those who wouldn't be able to help themselves. You are probably the person people tell things to. You often find yourself feeling someone's discomfort or wanting to figure out how to fix things almost out of instinct. The shadow of one's soul. Kindness defends everyone except the person holding it, and we'll call that a virtue. The kind who don't set healthy boundaries are often that not find themselves more often than not find themselves spent for someone else's sake, even though not everyone might deserve it. It also hides. Kindness is a very comfortable place to put avoidance. An unhealthy kind will often disregard their own needs, being willing to take on the pain for everyone else as if martyrdom is something to aspire to. Often confused with patience. Patience and kindness have a few things in common. Both trust that time can make things better, but the former concerns itself with time and how it's spent, the latter with alleviating and preventing pain. The patient will often remain near people who might ask for help, but wait for them to make the first move. The kind will simply go ahead and offer their help regardless. Okay. Your secondary virtue. Your second strongest virtue is integrity at 69%. Nice. Thanks to integrity, strong morals, and internal set of rules, the integrous kind is always ready to help, but can direct this motion towards causes they especially believe in. These people will often fight for social causes and concern themselves with what is good for society rather than for individuals. On the other hand, the integrous kind can end up taking too much pride in their kindness to the point where they might feel superior to the people they help, or keep count of their good deeds to bring up later in at their convenience. Your lowest virtue is justice, 30%. Of course. No one can be perfect at everything. Okay. Look at the egg! The egg is here! I wonder if there was more secrets like this going through. And I just didn't see them because I was so focused on the questions. But I found the egg, guys. That's silly. I like that it gives the code. Okay, well. This is an unofficial fan-made assessment. Credits. Deltarune and Undertale, their characters, music, sounds, and sprites belong to Toby Fox. This is an unofficial fan project with zero affiliation. Quiz writing and Meh HTML, Jaden. Fonts, Determination Mono by Haley Wakamatsu. Skeleton Sands by Toby Fox. Okay, this was fun. If you guys want to take it, it's like... I wonder if it'll let me Control-C, put it in the chat. Control-V. Yeah. This is the link for what I just took. I'll be sure to also put this in the description of the video when I eventually export it. But yeah. That's all I really had planned. So I think I'm going to, call it here. We'll go to the end screen. I'm gonna close that. Let's see, is there anyone I can raid? There is someone I'm following that is streaming. Oh, never mind. They must have just ended. Same category. Yeah. Alright. Oh god.